So, y'all remember that video I did last year for BGA? You know, my first one, the one where I gave y'all literal, canonical, and even historical context based on Rumiko Takahashi's past literary writing habits that Rin would in fact be revealed to be the mother of Sesshomaru's two twin daughters, Toa and Setsuna. Remember how some of y'all commented with your whole chest, "It's not Rin, this video is pointless because the series ain't even out yet, you reaching." Well, if you have been anywhere near the internet in the past week or so, then you know that in the latest episode of the fanfiction dumpster fire that is Yashahime, it was in fact confirmed that Rin is indeed the mother. Fortunately for y'all, I'm a humble hoe, so I'm not gonna run around nose up in the air talking about I told y'all so. I'm above that. So let's just move on to the real topic of this video and just I fucking told y'all. What did I say? Nah, Jax, you crazy. Nah, Jax, you reaching. That can't possibly be right. Rin's not the mama. First off, let me explain why I'm glad to know I was right. I had multiple very popular YouTubers and content creators coming at me from all sides telling me that I was wrong and that there was no way Rin could be the mother, and even suggesting it made me a quote-unquote fake nerd. I knew she was the mother because as a fucking writer myself, if you look at Takahashi's past writing habits, as per my last video, you knew she had no problem with major age gap differences between her characters and would use the time period it's set in to get away with it. There's also the non-canon audio drama Sesshomaru's Proposal or Sesshomaru's Confession by Sesshomaru's voice actor that I referenced, where I explicitly stated that just because it was, at the time, considered to be non-canon, Takahashi had to approve the recording and clearly had no problem making non-canon elements of this series canon, as evidenced by how Ayame, originally a filler character for the anime, was written into the events of the manga, ergo, making her officially part of the series canon and thus canonizing her marriage to Koga. Did I also mention that Ayame was a whole-ass child, younger than Rin when Koga promised to marry her? Where's y'all outrage about that? Moreover, for those of y'all still in denial about this, in my last video, I shot down any notion that Rin and Sesshomaru's relationship was that of quote-unquote father and daughter, and I stand by that. I get it, okay? I too was once a sweet summer child who at one point believed that to be the nature of their relationship until I grew up, reread all 559 chapters, and was like, yeah, nah, that ain't it. Lastly, and again, I referenced the kimono Sesshomaru presented to Rin in both the anime and the manga at the end of the series. Historically speaking, a man presenting a woman a kimono was a symbol of courtship, especially for that particular time period. Why do you think Kaede looks so shocked? Y'all were like, there were no signs, when there were all of the signs if you knew how to look for them and interpret them. What pisses me off more than anything is that these same people who came at me swinging claimed to call themselves real fans of the series and real anime fans in general. Suddenly, now there's all of this fake ass shock and disgust over Sesshomaru obviously sleeping with and impregnating Rin, who for all intents and purposes doesn't look much more than maybe 12, 11, 13, possibly, upon giving birth. And I place her in that age range due to her proximity in age to Sango, who had to have been at least 16 going on 17 when she first gave birth to her own twin daughters. Takahashi does not have a problem with teenage pregnancy. And I call it fake ass disgust and performative shock because these same fans still ship Inuyasha and Kagome, whose entire relationship is both hella toxic and illegal, or Moroku and Sango, whose entire relationship is based off constant sexual harassment. Like that didn't send any problematic messages to anyone watching. Yeah, he tried to kill me when we first met, and sure, he put my 15-year-old life at risk multiple times for his dead ex-girlfriend, but sure, I'll stick around and endure it. I mean, yeah, he constantly sexually harassed and assaulted me, but that just makes the heart go fonder, am I right? LOL, it was just for laughs. Every last couple in this series is problematic, even in Takahashi's past works. I can't think of a single wholesome couple that wouldn't make you go, yeah, no, they definitely should not be relationship goals. In fact, I can count on one hand the genuinely unproblematic anime couples in the entire history of anime and manga itself. Something else I really need to clarify is that some of y'all are still recklessly throwing around the word grooming. Full stop. Again, as someone who has intensively studied psychology and sociology, and speaking personally as someone who has been groomed by their past abusers, however you may feel about this couple, Sesshomaru did not groom Rin. To groom someone, be it a child or an adult, is the act of a sexual predator intentionally befriending and establishing an emotional connection with a child and or adult with the motive of sexually abusing and exploiting them. There is no evidence canonically, psychologically, socially, or in terms of the literary literary writing that makes up Inuyasha, be it in the manga or the anime, of Sesshomaru having those intentions towards Rin over the course of the series. Hell, for most of the series, some of y'all couldn't tell the difference between indifference and ambivalence, the latter of which Sesshomaru displayed towards Rin right up until the final chapter and episode. And even when we do see Sesshomaru begin to show romantic interest in Rin, it isn't until the very end of the series, once he's left her in Kaede's village, where it's explicitly stated that he did so for two reasons. One, to give Rin a chance to adjust to living amongst humans once more, with the decision ultimately being Rin's if she so chose to stay in the village or go back with Sesshomaru or live her own life separate of him. Two, to give Rin the opportunity to grow up and examine her own feelings for him at her own pace, whatever they may have been. Even if you don't agree with the whole "it was a different time period" argument, the way Rin's character is intentionally written shows us that she obviously has very consensual feelings for Sesshomaru, even as a child, in the same way that Ayame did for Koga. Y'all may not like that fact, but it's still a fact. Sesshomaru and Rin still happened. But no matter how you look at it, Sesshomaru did not groom Rin, simply going off of how Takahashi chose to write both of these characters. And as we've seen, Takahashi has a history of writing her femme characters to advance the male character story. Rin, unfortunately, falls right beneath that category due to the fact that her entire existence was created to show Sesshomaru's growth from his human and half demon-hating self to eventually bringing it full circle where Sesshomaru willingly married, yes, married, and had children with Rin, a human. Y'all hypocrites are out here calling Sesshomaru the R. Kelly and Woody Allen of anime, but will turn around and loudly simp for certain members of Class 1A who are literally children. Like I said, a lot of this I covered last year in my original video, so before I get too repetitive, let's get to the real problem with Yashahime, because the Sesshomaru and Rin pairing are just one of many issues I have with this series in general. As a longtime fan of the original series, as much as it may mean to me, I have to criticize Yashahime for its bad writing, its horrendous pacing, and certain creative decisions that really make you go, why did you guys even bother? I hate the missing parents trope we often see in sequels, even though it has been proven that Inuyasha and Kagome are alive and well. But at the same time, I get it. The writers were trying to set up more lore and ultimately answer questions that were left open-ended, such as what were the repercussions of Inuyasha and Sesshomaru's hoe-ass daddy, Toga, marrying a human woman? How did this affect his status as a demon? How did it affect the world of Inuyasha in general? Oh, and by the way, it turns out that Inukimi and Izayami weren't the only women in his life. Now we've got an entirely new character named Zero, oh my god, how creative, who clearly had feelings for Toga, but somewhere along the line got shafted hard enough by him, enough to where her tears, her very tears of sorrow, created one of the series' most important magical MacGuffins. And at this point, I wouldn't at all be surprised if Sesshomaru and Inuyasha had a secret sibling that we knew nothing about. Why? Because it looks like that's where the series is headed. I may be wrong, what with all the bad writing and everything that goes into Yashahime. However, nothing would surprise me at this point. So whether you do or don't agree with Sesshomaru and Rin getting together, you can't pretend to be surprised about this couple and hate it, all the while loving the original couples from the first series. And I get it, okay? This is a very touchy subject for a lot of fans right now. You have every right to be grossed out and disgusted by the fact that Sesshomaru and Rin got together. It's fucking weird. It's an Usagi drop situation. It's a Koikaze situation. It's uncomfortable as it bloody well should be, and so many of us would have rather it been Kagura or even that poor throwaway character Sarah be the mother of his children. But you can't pick and choose what's worse when it's all bad. It's literally all bad. The sin still weighs the same. Otherwise, I bet never see another one of y'all head-ass post about how much you want Bakugo to blow out your back. You've got two choices at this point. Either boycott the show and petition for it to be removed and be the change you want to see in the anime community, or shut up and continue watching the series to see where this train wreck leads. It's really that simple. For my part, I'm going to continue covering Yashahime because even as cringe as these episodes are, I'm open enough to admit that it's still a problematic fave, and at the very least, I want to see Moroha reunited with their parents. I could give fuck all about Sesshomaru. But what do you all think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Black Girls Anime for more in-depth, informative, educational, and entertaining reviews and analyses of your favorite anime, manga, video games, and more, all for the culture.